when we do training programs for athletes and all of our non-athletes, right? We coach far more regular people, entrepreneurs, executives, than we coach athletes.
Right.
We do the same thing. If you don't know what you're training for, you have no shot. Okay. In your particular case, you don't know what you're training for. Now, it doesn't sound correct in your mind, but the reality is, have we stepped back and go, what does this month look like, Cam? What's this 6 month look like? What's this year look like? What's your 5-year training plan? And what we do is we end up effectively, we use a quadrant system. So in the quadrant, you got 4 spaces, right? You get 10 points total for the quadrant. Okay. Not 10 per, 10 points total. And we say, okay, let's have a discussion. Where are the chips going? How many are we going to spend? And then we outline that quadrant and we check into that quadrant daily or weekly. And we make sure that your actions are following the quadrant. Right? And that becomes really challenging. We do this in a couple of different ways, but in the broader example, quadrant 1 is your physical activity and your training. Quadrant 2 is your business and whatever we call these things, your life, your job, something like that.
Don't
Quadrant
care
3,
about that.
right? Quadrant 3 is family and friends, social connections, whatever those things mean to you.
Don't care about that.
Number 4 is recovery.
Don't care about that. So
Okay, great. 10-0-0-0. Here's the rule, though. You can never have more than a 2-to-1 relationship between recovery and training.
Okay.
Right? So
2-to-1, which way?
training. So you can train twice as much as you recover.
Okay, gotcha. Good. So wait, are you counting recovery as sleep?
Everything is recovery. Whatever recovery means to you, whether that's going to a physical therapist, whether that's your ice, whether that is
massage,
whether you need to meditate, whether you need to go shoot a bow, whether you got to hunt, whatever it is that gives you energy back. That's what I'm after, right? So exercise is going to take energy away. What gives you energy back? For some people, that's going to a party. Some people, that's going out and interacting with people. For people like me, it's like getting away from people. I have to be by myself. Interacting with humans is really draining.
Yeah.
I have to be away, right? Whatever it is for your recovery, whatever it is for your physical activity practice, whatever it is for your business, right? And then whatever it is for your family and relationships part, right? Now, we got that quadrant figured out. Within that quadrant now, we'll do another one just on your training. Okay.
Is it same 4?
Same 4, but we're going to change the categories.
Yep.
You still got 10 points though, right? So now we're going to look at today's training, right? We're going to look at, do we have a performance goal? We're going to look at what's 10 years from now look like. And then we're going to look at limitations. Okay, so I'm going to look at that and go, how much of your training is dedicated to today, tomorrow? And how much of that is dedicated to our 10-year plan? And now all of a sudden when we look at that and we go, well, okay, nothing on my 10-year plan. I have no idea. Okay, my recovery is 0. And then like, okay, great. So we're just making up workouts.
Yeah.
What are we doing here, right? So I want to sit back and go, okay, we don't have to have like a competition picked out. But if all we're doing is running, we're not maybe doing enough efficiency work. Maybe we're not doing enough strength training. Maybe we're not doing other components that need to get you to that goal. This is exactly how we build fight camps, by the way. So we go into the same thing. Like, how are we going to lose this fight? How are we going to win this fight?
Okay.
And now we determine what amount of time we're going to spend on wrestling and striking and all these different things based upon those 10 points. That's exactly how we design it.
Is the risk on the loss, is that based on the opponent? Okay.
Very specific, right? So the style of training we do, how many points we allocate in each category, it differs based on are you fighting a wrestler? Are you fighting short notice? Are you fighting a striker? What's your game plan? You're going to strike. You're going to wrestle more. We're going to clinch more. Okay, great. We're going to need to have a higher fight IQ. Okay, we need to do something different then. Is this going to be a tactical fight? Is this going to be we're going to go to hell here and see who stays alive? We're going to build all of training camp around those questions.
Okay.
So it would be the same thing with you, right? It'd be like, okay, what are we trying to do here? And how are we allocating our energy, right? Just throwing miles at things is miles, but there is a much more intentional way we can go about it so that you can have higher reward for least amount of consequences or risk. Like there's going to be consequences with your mileage, period, right? Like we saw some of those, like there's going to be some, fine, we're okay with that. But we just need to understand what we're giving up. As long as we have that recognition, then we have expectations that are managed, right? So we would change all of our, not necessarily change things, but we would make sure that we are being intentional with how every calorie you're burning is going. And so we can put more of it in the area we want and less of it in areas that we don't care about.
Yeah, for me, it's like, you know, we talk a lot about running for sure, and I do races, but to me, that's not even, I don't even give a fuck about that. To me, it's about, I need to be able to kill a big bull with an arrow.
Right.
And so in my head, I've always been like, the more I can sacrifice in training, overcome all these things, because a hunt, you know, it's about overcoming. It's about problem solving. It's about being at your best when everything is going against you. And then the animal, it's like, you have to make these good decisions in crunch time, block out everything else and just focus on picking a spot and that arrow hitting perfect. So to me, my training is like, just break myself down and still be able to rise up.
Okay. So here's what I'd say.
Okay.
At breakfast, we were talking, like I put those on spectrums of sensitivity versus resilient. You've maximized resilient, right? You need to be able to perform under any circumstances, situations, and that is phenomenal. I think way more people should spend way more time trying to be more resilient. That is by far where we need to go. At the same point, it's also a mechanism you have against having to pay attention, right? It is a strategy you take to go, look, I don't want to have to pay attention, and I'm going to blind that under the veil of, I just want to be able to perform no matter what. Like that's exactly the mechanism, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But at this point,
like pay attention to what?
How many miles are you doing? What are you doing today?
Oh,
Why?
Yeah.
Why are we training that way?
Yeah, I don't.
What are we doing?
Right.
What are we eating before?
Yeah.
What are we training?
I understand. Okay.
Okay, right? I don't want to do those things. So for you, it's easier to block that out and use it actually as a tactic to go, oh no, I'm just working on being harder. Great. At this point, do you question your mental toughness anymore?
No.
No. I already know that answer. I don't need you to go prove it anymore, right? This is the same for a fighter. I don't need you to spar 5 rounds at 100% intention in practice every week. I know you can fight. I know Tatiana. I know Brian. I know when things go down, what's going to happen. And you know that answer, right? So I don't need to see that in training.
Okay.
What I need to see now is the opposite. How do we get more out of this thing? How do we play some games with specificity and precision? I don't want you to live there. I don't want you to be precious, but I got to know what that looks like, because right now it's blind. And so we don't have to prove the point over here of wondering whether or not when shit hits the fan, can you perform? Because you've clearly found that out about yourself for 35 or 4, whatever years, right? We know that answer. I know that right now, if something happened on the top of that mountain and you had a broken foot, you would get down. Like, I don't have to question that. I literally know that.
Yeah.
Like literally, right? Great. So now it's time to answer the other questions we haven't answered, which are, what does it look like if we have some intention? Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it does. And so now, rather than saying, okay, can I do a race under terrible conditions? Yeah, I know you will. But now can we do it better? Can we go faster? Can we set a new speed record? Can we set a new production rather than just got through it under terrible circumstances? I still want you to spend most of your time over here.
Yeah.
Like most of it. I just want to see what that looks like over there.
I see. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's the same thing with our fighters, right? We want to say, or on any of our players, our golfers, our baseball players, our basketball, NFL guys, I want you to be able to pitch when you have a fever. And you have to throw 100, and you have to have command, and you have to be like, because you're getting paid a lot of money and blah, 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 like all the things, right? It does not matter. I know you're hurt. I know the things there, but we have to go play. We have to find that. Some people, you have to find that. Some people don't know it's there. It's not there. You have to develop that. You have to drill that. You have to build that. But at the same time, that doesn't mean I want to go the other side. I want to know how to get you in the great spot as many times as possible, because the biggest thing with professional sports is those competitions are set. I know I can look at the schedule right now, and I know exactly when my pitchers are pitching the rest of the year. I know the day they're competing in the Olympics. I know that day right now.
Right.
They have to perform on that day.
Yeah.
There is no moving it. There is no option. There's no second chances. And so for us, I want no questions. I want no wondering. I want no guessing. Everything we've built in our coaching program has been that. Like, what if? What if we took every question away that we possibly can? Can we give you the most consistent, repeatable results? So when you're a pitcher and you have to throw every 5 days, there will be some bad days. There'll be some good days. But how do we minimize the standard deviation? That is the difference between a guy making $5 million and $35 million a year. Mm-hmm. It is that standard deviation. It's not the great day. It's not the terrible day. It's the standard deviation.
Right.
And so we have to get consistency. We have to have a known outcome for a known input. I want to know when I go A, B, and C, this is going to happen in your physiology. And this is going to happen in your performance. We can also use that a lot in contract negotiations. This is like behind the scenes sort of stuff. When we have this kind of data, it's super valuable in contract negotiations because
Like
they can make arguments of going, well, you're 33 now, and you know, hockey players or basketball players start doing it. And we can go, well, look at our historical data. We have 7 years of data on cognitive function, blood markers, blah, blah, blah. In fact, everything's getting better. Now argue with me.
Pay me.
Tell me I'm going to start slowing down, right?
Yeah, right.
If you don't have that, you start getting the back end. So it's actually very valuable for us to have a very large historical database of your physical performance in just rather than your stats on your sport, right? So we want to do those things, and we can negotiate. Well, not we, but the teams could, the agents and stuff can negotiate a lot better.
Every step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use every comment, hate that makes my feel. Gather up my energy and boom, I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with, giving my blood, so I am relentless. My fault, they want someone to blame. They sent their hate, it fuels my pace. I am Roy Tough, I am the change, the fuel in dirt, feeling like Cam Hanes.